What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Goods, XY. We back in the building, man. Listen, I want to react to this video real quick, man. This radio legend, Devi Brown, and Curtis King, man. Curtis King did this interview with Devi Brown, and this was such a good interview to watch. I watched this interview in full, but there's some things she said on here that really kind of like hit, and I wanted to share it with y'all because I feel like a lot of people are kind of unsure about why they feel the way that they feel when it comes to like this battle and everything that happened within it, everything that, you know, came from it, whether you decided from this battle, because a lot of people did, whether you decided from this battle that you wanted to support Kendrick or you wanted to support Drake or you just wanted to like not deal with any of it at all, or it just made you feel certain ways about the way that music is being given to you, the delivery, the message, and everything in between. I felt like she brought up some real good points in this interview to kind of explain and make it all make sense on how most of us are feeling, because the way she explained this, it kind of like added clarity for what I already felt. Because you already know, like, I feel like some of the things that we found out in the midst of this battle just made it different from me even hearing. But she brought up a bunch of good points, and I really want to highlight that. So let's get to it.
You do have relationships on both sides. You know, you talked about the support, the early support, but you were led to say something about it on your platform. Things that you were talking about, especially the women in my audience, really, truly resonated with. What kind of pulled you in to speak about it?
There was no question. I think in watching all of it happen, I felt like, and not even that he needed any of us to do this, he is himself, but I just naturally very passionate about always writing for Kendrick, like from a soul level, from a heart level. Like,
listen, just her saying that right there kind of explains a lot of things about why people go hard for Kendrick and why, you know, a lot of people go to bat for him. It's because when you really, really put these things in perspective, Kendrick is representing a piece of hip hop that's underrepresented right now, or the culture as a whole has some type of representation, right? Because what does Drake offer to the culture really when you dig deep? What does he offer? What has Drake ever rapped about that immediately affected the culture or where the culture is? What has he done for the culture that people are claiming he's a part of?
From someone that has seen somebody teach the concept to the world, he's just so much more than any of his songs heard on the radio, right? And so I think kind of watching this battle play out over the last few years, I've really developed my own personal sentiments about Drake, right? And I know how much we debate hip hop, and Lord, I'm probably not even going to look at the comments of this, but this episode.
First of all, you in this community, you are protected. I call my moderators. They know that my moderators are my snipers.
One time for the sniper. I be seeing the snipers up there with the scopes. They be having the scopes. They be on the floor like this with the scopes. I be looking right through the scopes. I be like, I come in peace. All right, I come in peace. Ain't no ops here.
You know, to be quite honest, as a woman, but also as a professional with a high trained ear, Drake just felt disappointing the last few years. Like he hadn't grown at all as an artist in terms of what he talked about. And I take offense to that, because when you have that kind of a platform, and especially when you are in front of the culture, a culture that is systemically oppressed and faces so much, like he hadn't grown at all as an artist in terms of what he talked about. And I take offense to that, because when you have that kind of a platform, and especially when you are in front of the culture, a culture that is systemically oppressed and faces so much already, and you don't really take that position seriously. Like, I feel like he doesn't give anything back.
That right there is something that, don't let that go over your head. Drake, in my eyes, takes so much from the culture. He takes so much from the culture, and he has gotten away with it for so many years. And so many years of that, people have watched this happen, and he has not given back anything. And people have let that slide for so many years, bro. And it's just insane when you really sit back and think about it, because I think we just got trapped so crazily into this whole battle and everything that's going on. Who do we support, who we not support, that we didn't even realize that, dog. This man has been taken from the culture for years. But if you sit back and really analyze this shit, what the fuck has he given back? It's insane.
Like all of his music is so self-aggrandizing, and it's about this very limited personal experience of being a man with access to a lot of women. And it's like, how often, like every song, like with your level of talent, right?
Yeah.
Like his level of talent is incredible. His skill set, his musicianship, it's incredible. And also his understanding and life experiences. He has access to so much. And I don't just mean money, I mean like the world. I mean minds, right? Like information. And I just feel like he always takes like the low-hanging fruit.
Man, come on, man. Come on. Like, to have this influence, to have this power, for the people that say Drake is like the guy who's been running the game for whatever. How many years? Whatever years you say, because it changes every time. But to have this kind of power in this culture, within hip hop, and not do anything to give to that, to where your substance is women, how women hurt you, how you come out the winner, how it's you versus the women, you versus this, people envy you. Like, this is literally Drake in one box. And this has been Drake in one box for years, man. And it's like, yo, we missed that. We completely let that shit go over our heads. And it's crazy. This is why I like seeing like interviews like this, because I feel like it gives you a different perspective, because we're all kind of like guilty of it. Sometimes we can let like our personal integrity and like our morals and everything dictate how we feel about certain things, to the point where we're just literally we not fucking with something. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. I'm not fucking with it. I don't want to hear it. I'm not fucking with it. But the way she speaks about it in a way where you can understand. That's how I feel. If I really take the moment to deep dive into the music and understand the message he's giving through his music versus what's being given on this side, this is why I feel this way. Wow.
The easy way out as an artist, and he doesn't help. And it bothers people have power and don't help. And so, a lot of his music to me really began over the years to sound very sociopath. Like, it just sounded so apathetic, so much in like using women and using, like, it just felt really manipulative. And then when you see some of his patterns play out, and not, I don't know him, so I don't want to speak in his life in that way, and people will say whatever they want to say. But if you're a heal, whole, and health person, if you're someone that has respect for other people, if you're someone that lives in integrity, you really can recognize here the manipulation that he moves in the world with.
And this is what I mean, y'all. Y'all know how on this channel I tell y'all all the time that it's really about the integrity. It's about your moral compass. When you listen to Drake and you hear Drake these days, especially for me personally, I can't listen to it. It doesn't hit the same, because this battle really opened a lot of people's eyes to things that they did not know was going on. All we saw was this guy who had these records. We saw this guy who had these hits. We saw this guy who's supposedly running the game. This guy who supposedly is the guy that helps everybody with tracks by featuring on this track and doing this and doing that. And then with this battle, what it did was you started to learn things one by one because everybody was talking about it. Things were coming out. People were revealing things. And then you listen to the music again, and then it hits you. This nigga not talking about nothing. He's never given back anything. It's always been about Drake. I'm the victim. Feel bad for me. I'm on top. I got the money. I got the women. Insane when you really, really put that shit in perspective. It's crazy.
And that bothers me, and I can't support that, and I won't ingest it or consume it. So already years, I felt very disconnected from him as an artist, and I couldn't really listen to the music. It felt like it was draining me as a woman and as a person, as someone, that seeks to share light. And it just felt narcissistic. It's like, how many times do we have to just talk about your greatness and your money and your women and how hard you've had it and how poorly, girls treat you? Like, that's just how it started sounding.
Same here. Because even when I would hear him tell stories, people know I'm very critical, but when you would hear stories, even about other people, you can tell when somebody's delivering a story and they still want to be the superhero or the one that that escapes accountability.
Yeah.
And when it gets to that point where it funnels into the music, which you know this, bro, think a thought, leave a thought, you share a thought, you record it, you re-record it. At
Yeah.
some point, there's got to be a connection to what's going on there.
The easy choice is Kendrick. Kendrick does and gives to people in the world, right? And I understand that depending on one's own emotional intelligence, they may gravitate to some songs and maybe not so much others, or you may revisit certain themes and aspects of his music. But this music is about like pushing a culture forward and humanity forward. It's deep introspection, it's connectedness to God. It is giving people tools and access to higher thought.
There's two different type of people, right? There's people who appreciate that and it hits somewhere for them, hits home, resonates somehow, like it hits in a certain way. And then there's people that, are the people that, say shit like, I don't need to hear that shit. That shit don't affect me. There's different groups of people who listen to certain things. You know what I mean? And I feel like if you're not a person that is like a person who walks around with some sense of pride and some sense of integrity and some sense of like, I want to be better, I want to be, connected somehow, you're not going to hear what he says and you're not going to like what he says. There's just some people out there that could immediately, see themselves in Drake and the message that he gives out. They connect immediately with whatever Drake is talking about. They connect immediately. And then there's people that connect immediately with Kendrick. It's just two different worlds.
So just feeling seen and supported. And so when the Drake and Kendrick dynamic was playing out, another thing that I really rejected was here you have someone who is dedicating their life to helping to unpack Black trauma. That's the way I see it in their music. And then you have someone else who grew up in complete privilege who is making fun of that. And I take a lot of offense to that. I took a lot of offense to the way that Drake treated Los Angeles. This is one of the most resilient places on earth. And I get it. A lot of people see the glitz and the glams and they move here for opportunity. But if you are a native, you have reverence for Los Angeles, for what it takes to grow up here and to be here, and for the kind of creativity that people that are from where Kendrick is from, what they're able to produce with nothing, So it's like watching that dynamic play out outside of songs, outside of skill set, outside of friendship. It was like, this is wrong. Like, this is not okay. Like, you don't get to play this game where you get to come down to the hood and have fun when you want to, and then disappear and make fun of the experience. And that's what it felt like. It felt like coming down to try to be down, whether it's here or Atlanta or anywhere else. And then, you're adopting these certain kind of code switches to be in the room. And then you disappear and you make fun of all of it because you didn't have to grow up in that way, right? Because you got to watch it on TV in Canada in your safe home, and you got to make music for pleasure, not for survival.
It's a bar right there. You got to make music for pleasure and not for survival. Listen, take that with y'all and think about that. Really think about that. This kind of reminds me back when Drake was at that dinner table and he was talking about, how people talk that's ignorant.
The guys at our school, instead of addressing people like the group, like saying like, what are you guys doing? Say man's like you. It's really weird. Yeah, so man's like you are going to that, and then just means like the group.
Crew.
That's interesting.
It's not. It's really ignorant.
Clear example right there. That's an example of going to the hood, cosplaying, doing what you gotta do, and then going back and making fun of it.
And so I just really rejected that completely. I rejected absolutely everything he said about Kendrick in his songs and all of the mistruths. Like, and I think we don't champion consistent integrity enough.
Living in wisdom, a path to embodying your authentic self, embracing grief, and developing self-mastery. Forward by Charlemagne the God, written by me, Devi Brown.
Shout out to Devi Brown. Shout out to Curtis King, man. Shout out to both of y'all. One time for both of y'all. 2 times for both of y'all. Fuck it, 3 times for both of y'all. Yo, great interview. Great interview. I advise y'all to go to Curtis King's channel. It in full. Great insight. Watching this, like hearing the things she was saying. Some people are better at putting it into words, right? For you to understand or feel what, you know, you're feeling. I felt like a lot of the things she was talking about is exactly how I'm feeling. You know, you just have a guy that just takes from the culture and doesn't give anything back. And people have allowed him to do that for years. So yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel about that interview. Let me know how you feel about that video. Let me know how you feel about everything she said. How do you feel about the idea that Drake takes from the culture and doesn't give anything back? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section. And again, if you have not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You already know what it is. It's your boy Good, BigZoeTV. Let's go.
Niggas acting bad, but somebody gotta do it. Got my foot up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it.